Humiliated at home. Lots to discuss. How do Charlton bounce back? Welcome back to Where Addicks Walk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Steve, Timsy, Platty, and Alan. Platty, so a day to forget, but it was your birthday, so happy birthday for yesterday, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. What a shocking day. England cricket, and then I thought Charlton would cheer me up, and I wasn't feeling that great. Nah.
Not great. Steve, what do you make of that, mate? I mean, it was a performance that was really unlike anything that Charlton have done so far this season.
Yeah, it wasn't. I thought it was going to be a tough one, but there was a spell of about 6 minutes where they banged in 3 goals against us, and we just every time they came forward, they looked like scoring. They were coming. It was waves of players that they just were playing through, and they were just so easily picking holes out. I mean, our defence, which had been so solid in other games, just looked just wafer thin, and it's just anything was going through. It started all right. Kaminsky did a really good save early on, and when it was still 0-0, but then soon after that, we were shipping goals, and to be almost 5-1 down at half time, that was being generous to us. And it was schooling. We got completely our pants pulled down on us. Southampton, I mean, coming from them who were looking so shocking last season in the Premier League to us who were looking so good from our promotion from League One, it shows the class difference in the school difference in quality between the two divisions, and it's a real wake-up call, I think, for the lads.
Yeah. I think it's. We'll touch on what you can do for confidence in that going forward, but I think the thing is, Timsy, to concede 5 goals in one half, no matter what, is it's embarrassing, isn't it? You can't have that happening. Nathan Jones has got to look at that and go, right, that cannot happen again.
Yeah, I think he's set up to be a very front-footed from the off, and I think that really played against us. We were very high on the press, and they just found it so easy to pass around it. We played with no official wing backs who, they're basically wingers, the players who are on the left and the right. And it was just so easy. It just left us with anyone with pace could just run past anyone. The whole midfield was skipped. And it was like a rinse and repeat each goal. It was like break the press on the break, and then it went. And their finishing was sublime. Of course, their confidence must have hit just a ceiling at that point.
Yeah. You're right though. It was such a high press, and Southampton did manage to break through. But Alan, it left so many gaps in midfield. There was moments in the game where there was no one within 30, 40 yards of a Southampton player. It was quite weird to see.
Yeah, looking back at one of the goals, the goalie ran it out, and defender right back straight into Adam Armstrong turns, and think it's just ridiculous to watch. As Timsy said, they could literally just ping a couple of balls, pop, and it's up the upper end, and it's another goal. From my point of view, you're watching it unfold. You just conceded, obviously, 2 in 2 minutes sort of thing. Kaminsky's got to go down. We've got to have a Doherty, Jones, get there just for the fans' point of view. Get everyone round in the huddle and say, look, whatever happens, I know we've been told to press. You've got to take responsibility on the pitch. Even though Nathan Jones said you've got to play press high. 2-0, even 3-0. Obviously, the second goal will come in after. The third goal within another couple of minutes. Just have a huddle, even for the fans. Says, look, whatever we do, just do not concede. Low block, go back in, fake injury, get something. But we just literally, Nathan Jones on the sidelines, everyone said, what can you do? What can you do? By the time he's turned around to his assistant and said, right, what should we do? Another one's gone in the net. You know what I mean? What you can't control that. There's nothing you can do. And from that point on, but that's the point. And from my point of view, second or third goal, just take some responsibility. Let's just low block it and just try not to concede another goal. But it's like putting a band-aid on
I think Alan's spot on there, actually, because after the second goal went in, Rankin Costello was told to get warm up. And I've sort of seen on social media, he should have changed it up, brought on subs. To be honest, Jones, it was 4 goals in 8 minutes. He didn't have a chance. Yeah. After the second went in, he was obviously thinking that. But I think, Al, that's a really fair point. Kaminsky or one of them should have gone down injured, and then Jones called him over. I mean, I don't know who makes that decision, but amongst the 11 players and the 25 we got on the bench, it might have been a good call, that. But certainly Jones was thinking, because Rankin Costello was warming up after the second goal, but then the third went in and he's looking at the screen, and then the fourth went in and he's looking at the screen. I don't think, subs-wise, the only way he could have done that would have been to have a break, as Al said, whether legit or not, and then done something about it. Really tough, but they did. They cut through us just like a hot knife on butter. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that in 8 minutes of football. Really haven't.
Yeah, I think spot on points, both. Yeah, Al, I think you're spot on, mate. It takes people talk about the manager making decisions, etc., but the players do need to take some responsibility as well, and look at it and go, right, we were under the cosh here. Let's just fake an injury.
See it 10 minutes. See it the next 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Just
100%. 100%. But it takes them characters, isn't it? You need them characters in the team to go, right, we're going to do this. But it's one of them things. Unfortunately, it happens. Like we discussed off air. It's the championship. It's going to be brutal. What do you think going forward, Steve, is going to do for Charlton's confidence? Is it one of them where you go, right, it's happened, move on? Luckily, in the championship, you have a game in a couple of days' time. Just sort of get past it.
I hope so. I mean, to me, it couldn't have happened at a worse point, really, because we've got such a tough week coming up. The confidence will be absolutely at a ground level at the minute in that squad. Particularly some players. I mean, Apter is. I can't see how he's going to recover from this being dragged off in the first half. That's always a bad one for a player. But yeah, when we're conceding such easy goals, it's going to make the next few games really tough to get through. We've got some really top teams to play, and we're going to have to really pull it together. And I can see he's going to have to make wholesale changes with what he's got. We've still got a few players that are coming back from injury. As in theory, some of them should be edging closer to fitness and hopefully making the bench. But he's going to have to shuffle his pack. And for me, I think the TC experiment's come to an end. We've got to drop him. He's not championship quality. I'm sorry, I'm not having him. He's just not doing it in the championship. He looks weak. He just looked uninterested at points yesterday. And at minimum, he's on the bench for me. But to me, he's out of the squad.
Fortunately, he's one of them luxury players, isn't he? He's all right when you're one of the better teams in the league, and you can almost get away with having a player that's got a little bit of flair but doesn't really do the hard yards. But in the championship,
he just doesn't score goals. He just doesn't score goals. He's a forward. He's just like, what sort of forward doesn't score goals? We've had him in the past and they've been dropped, but this guy, he just seems undroppable. And it infuriates me. He was milling about the pitch, just doing nothing yesterday.
To be fair, I thought Leeburn was that was his best game in the championship so far. I thought he was really good. Obviously, they both did happen. And to be fair, I know you're obviously not a fan of CC. It's very clear, but I thought, considering he's just come back from Jamaica and probably been in the squad in the country about 24 hours ago, and he's probably at 4 a.m. in store, whatever it is, or 10 at night, I thought he did okay.
I'd agree with that. The only thing I'd say then is, Jones, why are you playing? You've got Olafea on the bench. Start him. TC, if he's not awake enough to play a game of football, then he shouldn't be on the pitch.
The trouble is with TC, he does a couple of really cracking bits, but then he is just dreaming. I reckon every game I find myself going, what are you doing, TC? Because he stands around mooning. Now, there are times when he's absolutely I don't mean mooning literally, but he's absolute world class at times. I mean, at Ipswich, when he came on as sub, he roasted the right back. But, and this is a big but, what does he contribute? I think he's now 29 games, including internationals, without a goal. And in those, he's probably got half a dozen assists if he's lucky. Probably not even that. And I'm with Steve. I'm with Steve. He needs time out, but he seems to have some photos of Jones. I reckon that's what I reckon.
With TC, it's one of them where he'll do a incredible bit of strength, keep hold of the ball, and then you think, it's clear, he's gonna pass it, he's gonna square it, or he's either on his heels or he doesn't read the game right. It's like that maturity of reading the game or what to do next just complex him, and he just always makes the wrong choice every time, and that's the frustrating part.
That decision making, isn't it? But we'll see what Jonesy decides to do in the upcoming games. So let's get on to him. Obviously, we've got Stoke coming up, which they're having a very good season, aren't they? Alan, what's your predictions for the Stoke game? Your prediction for the score and what you're expecting from the game?
I expect it depends on obviously who's fit generally. Just got Jonesy is totally limping off at the end. I didn't really see that, but as soon as you can. At the moment, I don't think we can go anywhere near this three at the back. This wooden back larks. You could potentially, I would go with a flat four. Put maybe Ramsey if Bree's fit enough to play at right back. We play him there. Gillespie and Jones. Go a four. Pack the midfield with five. You could still have Apter if you wanted, and TC, for example, on the left, and get some bodies in the midfield, because watching that on Saturday, you can't go for that again. That's horrendous. Let's say Stoke have come off the back of 2 losses, but they're a very good team. If we can get a 0-0, stinking 0-0, I'll be more than delighted for that. But you never know. We probably go and welcome and then go and smash them 3-0. You never know. It's championship, like so. Yeah. But no, I could take a draw. And as bad as it sounds, even like a 1-0 loss, just whoever's fit to play and go from there, innit, really. But if I could get a draw, I'd be delighted.
So what you narrowed down? What's the prediction? What's your scoreline?
I'm going to go with a stinking. This is why Nathan Jones. Stoke hates Nathan Jones. 0-0, absolute tross.
Yeah, we go.
0-0. Yeah, the most awful 0-0 on the planet, I'll say.
What about you, Platty? The same question to you, mate. Stoke away. What are you expecting, and what is your predictions for the score?
Yeah, I'm up there on Tuesday. I'm worried about Jones, as Alan said. He was limping for the last 10 minutes. But I hope if I were there, I'd be going 4-4-1-1. The one being Berry, and then the 4, the existing midfield, and probably add Nibs to it. I'd sack off TC. I'd forget the wing backs and play 4 at the back. Now, that 4 at the back hopefully would be Jones, Ramsey, Macca, and Bree. Hopefully, but there's question mark, I understand, still even on Bree. So it really depends what's available. But I would go 4-4-1-1, and I stick with Alan on that, a 0-0 draw. And defend for your life, possibly scrape a breakaway and get one. But that's what I would do. 4-4-1-1.
Yeah, okay. What about Steve? The next game doesn't get any easier, does it? It's Coventry, who are absolutely flying this season. What are you thinking from that game, and what's your score prediction, mate?
I'm sorry, I'm not this one. Even if we were on form, this is going to be, I fear, almost double figures. It's like it's Coventry just scores so many goals. They're looking phenomenal. There's always one team, it seems, in the Championship that just is head and shoulders above everyone else, and this year it's Coventry. They win, they fight. I think they were 2-0 down yesterday, and they came back and won 3-2. They just don't lose. They just don't. And depending on let's work on the basis that we've got that 0-0 draw at Stoke, then hopefully we can keep it down up at Coventry. But I'm sorry, it's going to be a negative one. I'm going 3-1 Coventry. I think we are going to take a tonking.
TC with the goal, Steve.
Only if Coventry have gone off already and early in the first half, and threw on no one in goal. But even then, I'm not convinced.
Timsy, what about you, mate? Coventry. Let's go off the basis that we got a 0-0 draw against Stoke. Coventry, what we thinking?
I reckon it'll be probably a 2. They do concede. But I can't
score though.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. We'll score just a goal probably in the added time when they've already given up and they've already scored 4. I'm going to go 4-1 to Coventry. I just can't see us not taking the hammer in, especially with the injuries. I just don't know at the moment until we have injuries, until we get to January. I just don't know what we're going to do with that left side of ours. The left side's just a massive issue. yeah, I just can't see us getting anything at the moment.
It's hard. Like, I mean, what Coventry on? I think 28 plus goal difference is that, you know, they are scoring goals for fun. So it wouldn't, you know, it's one of them at the moment. They are scoring against everybody. So yeah, I think that's fairly realistic. But let's hope not. Let's hope you can, you know, snatch a win and hit them on the counter, etc. Right, Platty, another week's gone by. What is your Platty's peeves for this week? Sorry, Platty, you're on mute, mate.
Sorry, boys. Sorry. Is that better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Steve picked up one. I was gonna mention TC, but I think for me, bringing Abter in, and Abter I've been pushing for, but they brought him in at right wing back against a team that are pretty strong. As we've said, they mowed through us. And it was quite interesting because I looked at where Rob Abter was positioned, and he was positioned probably just on about the halfway line, or one grass cut one side or one grass cut the other. And to be honest, Bree was similar the week before. And you sort of wonder what he was doing, and he seemed just not sure what his position was or what his game plan was there, because certainly for two of the goals, one definitely, he got caught well out, and I guess that was the reason why Jones subbed him. And I just sort of think, you're bringing a guy on who's young, he's not really a wing-back. He started August in that way, and was player of the month for August. But yeah, you just sort of ask yourself, is he the right guy to put on, particularly when you got Rankin Costello? So peeved for that. And the other thing that did peeve me off to a degree, and I know a lot of people will probably on YouTube shout me down on this, and people have got a choice, haven't they? But the number of fans that left at half time or didn't come back after half time, it was quite a number that didn't do that, and that really disappoints, really, because if we're realistic as Charlton fans, at some point in the season we were going to get tonked. It was unfortunate it was at home, but Southampton, you know, you look at the players they've got. They got 60-70 million pound of players there. I mean, Joe Aribo came off the bench. He's on 70 grand a week. So we're in a bit of a different league there, and they certainly are not the Southampton that played the first 7 or 8 games this season. They're in a new position. So I was disappointed with that. But equally, I've got to say, from being peeved, I was quite pleased about how the crowd reacted in the second half, and particularly at the end. There was a lot of people at the end giving them a round of applause for the effort they put in that second half, because we were definitely caught out in the first half an hour, without a shadow of a doubt. And whether that was tactics or otherwise, I don't know. But really pleased how the crowd reacted the second half, still singing, and also the applause that they gave. But, you know, I'm sure people have slagged me off by saying, why did people leave? But that's my opinion. They're entitled to theirs, and they obviously did.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Platty. I wouldn't leave. It's one of them. Like you said, you're expected to come. You've gone up a division. You're expected to lose games, and you just got to support to the end, no matter what. You support when they're winning, support when they're losing. That's, if anything, that's when the players need you more, to show that the togetherness is there. It might not work out in that game, but then they can take that togetherness into the next game and the game after, knowing that the fans are still with them. Alan, what do you think to that, mate? Knowing you like we do, I'm sure you would have stayed to the end.
Yeah, I'll stay to the end. I stayed right to the end. But yeah, the second half obviously matched them up, and whether they come off the gas or we just got up the gear or whatever, got a flea in the air, it's a lot better second half. Personally, honestly, Platty's mentioned, obviously it's disappointing we're at home. I personally found it was better because obviously the stick Nathan Jones was getting, rightly or wrongly, from the Stoke fans, it was, you're 5-0 up and all you want to do is talk to your old manager who got 8 games. I don't really know what that's about. But if you got that sort of hammering at Southampton away, you got 25,000 of them singing that. You know what I mean? It's rather than 2,000. So personally, I just rather it was at home. You know, you can dust it off and you just dust it off and go again. But
so we don't have 20,000 Stoke fans.
Well, that's it. That's it. That's why I say get a stinking 0-0, low block it, and then, you know, just bring Tanto on for 5 minutes and he'll just stick one away like Sheffield United. That's just so typical Nathan Jones performance. absolute long ball for 10 minutes, then start playing it about, and then obviously nick a goal. That's what.
Yeah, I'm sure Jones has got a plan. I'm sure he's got a plan. Right, we're on to our A to Z feature. And Steve, I believe it's your turn, mate. So the letter G for Charlton, please.
Yeah, so there's a couple of options that we had for G. Thinking about even recent times, we had Conor Gallagher on loan from Chelsea. We've had Joe Gomez come through our ranks. But the one I wanted to look at was Steve Gripp. So some from for a few of the older fans, I guess. But he started out at Bournemouth and we snapped him up at a young age. And he joined us in about 77, 78, that type of time. And he spent a huge period of the majority of his footballing career at Charlton, playing almost over 350 games, scoring 20 odd goals from midfield. Really impressive player on his day from what I've seen. Could really get stuck in, knew how to rile up the team and to get things going forward. He moved on for a year at Walsall, but then came back soon after. And in that second spell, it was a time when we appointed him as joint player manager with a certain Alan Kirbishley. And he had 4 years working with Kirbs as joint manager, something we don't see much of these days. But and it was under that spell that we had a number of players that were kind of really big parts of Charlton's history coming through the ranks. So he was part of the team that brought in the likes of Lee Bowyer, John Robinson, Richard Rufus, Sean Newton, all of those boys that played such key roles for Charlton. And it was partly his training and partly his management that helped elevate those players on. So obviously he made way when and Kirbs took over full time, but I don't think it can be understated that of Gripp's kind of importance to Charlton's history. He was there through some tough times, obviously the period where we're away from the Valley, and then coming back to the Valley. He was a big part of that time at the club. So he had a real strong history with Charlton Athletic. He's probably not just because of how revered Kirbs is, and rightly so, not given the credit I'd say that he deserves, and a real Charlton legend. The term legend is used probably too readily these days, but I think it's fair to use it for a player and a manager like Steve Gripp.
Love that, mate. That was brilliant. I think that's
really good.
A good one. Yeah, 100%.
Luke, can I just have one shout out?
Of course you can.
To the Charlton women's team today, who took revenge on Southampton. We won 2-1 at Southampton today, and they stayed top of effectively Division 1 in the in the Women's League. And we scored in the 89th and the 90th +7 to win 2-1. Well done, women.
Yeah, well done.
Well done, women.
I think they've gone a year unbeaten or something crazy.
Is that what it is now? Wow.
Yeah, something crazy now.
Yeah, well done. Yeah. Well done. Long may that continue. Right, we are now on to tweet of the week to finish. So today's tweet of the week is a little bit different. I was quite interested when I come across this. I thought, oh, it's a fair point. Basically, it's about the fitness and the injuries that obviously Charlton have had the last couple of weeks. And this is the tweet. Interesting to hear why Dr. Will Abbott hasn't been replaced for 3 months. Fitness and injuries have been worse since he left. Timsy, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think him going has played a part in the recent downfall of injuries and fitness?
I think it could be a blend of things. I think last year it was one of the first seasons I remember for a very long time that we didn't suffer massive injuries. We had so many seasons back to back where we would see 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 players. I think when Bowyer had come back into the Championship, didn't we have something like 14 players out or something?
Yeah, we had a squad worth out. Yeah,
it was on loan from memory at like Met Police or something stupid, and then he's going to make his debut at Luton or something ridiculous, wasn't it? But that was Jonesy was challenger of Luton then.
Yeah, and so we had last season we had Dr. Will Abbott, and it just seemed like it slotted so well, and the fitness of the players, the endurance of the players as well. But we did have a few players playing through injury, especially towards the end of the season. not to replace him does seem like a strange one to me personally. And I think it's partly down to the players we've recruited as well, to why we've got so many injuries. The players who have got injured history, like Burke has been notorious. Bell has had previous injuries. Edwards, to an extent, he did get injured at the start of last season as well. Godden played through an injury and had the operation. That's why he's out. So I think it's partly due to the recruitment we're having to make to to sort of fit our budget just coming up. And it may be part of the medical team just needing that extra experience back in there. Whether that's something the ownership looks into, but it's finding the right person what sort of fits the mold as well, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he does get replaced and whether that has a positive impact on the injury situation. Thank you, lads, and thank you everybody for watching at home. Please like and subscribe, and please get involved in the comments below, talking all things Charlton.
Cheers, Luke.